And welcome back to Football Talk. We're going to move into our segment of Bo's picks. We're going to pick all the games this week. Hopefully, we have a little better track record than we did last week. With all the upsets and just weird things that happened, we ended up hitting like 50%, which is not where we want to be. But let's see if we can improve on that this week. So, moving into the Thursday night game, we have an AFC West matchup with KC and the Chargers. I think Kansas City gets it done at home. I can't imagine as good as they looked against Arizona that the Chargers are going to go into Arrowhead and beat them. I did pick the Chargers to win the division, though, but I think KC gets the job done. So as we move into our morning slot, we got Miami and Baltimore. I think Baltimore wins easily at home. I don't really know why the Dolphins and Tua's teammates have been gassing him up like he's going to be the next Dan Marino. But if they're going to do all these highlight, little videos, they should have at least picked videos where the throws weren't underthrown. They were at least fully on target. I feel like they're really setting this guy up to underachieve, at least in the media's eyes. Really, with all of the hype, anything less than an MVP season would feel like underachieving, with just the constant he's the best guy ever. That being said, Baltimore is a solid team. They're back from all of the injuries that they had last year. I think they go in. I think they're at home and they roll against Miami. Now you got the Browns and the Jets. The Browns win that game. The Jets are going to be bad. I don't trust any part of the Jets organization. They have a couple of nice pieces, but beyond that, it's not a winning team. Now, Cleveland isn't exactly a team that I think is great as it's currently constructed, but they're good enough to beat the Jets. Washington versus Detroit. I'm picking Detroit at home. The line on it is 1.5, so even Vegas doesn't really know who's going to win this game. I just went with Detroit because I think Dan Campbell's a good guy, and I really want him to have some success. So I went with Detroit. It's not a pick that I love, but I think they can get it done at home, get their first win of the season. You got Indy going into Jacksonville, and I think Indy wins that game. Jacksonville doesn't really seem to know what they are. They have some talent, but they really can't seem to get it to gel on the field. And Indy is a pretty solid team, so I think they go into Jacksonville and win that game. Tampa Bay going into New Orleans. This one, I think Tampa Bay wins on the road. The Saints are a good team. They have some nice pieces. But, I think they're going to be an inconsistent team. And I think Tampa can go in and steal a win on the road. Carolina going into New York. This is another road team that I think wins. The Giants are another team that I'm not in love with. There's really nothing that excites me about that team that I think makes me feel the need to pick them. Not that Carolina is going to be great either with Baker and Darnold, but I think they're good enough to go in and beat the Giants. So you got the Patriots going into Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh wins at home. I haven't seen much out of Mac Jones that I've liked so far. And then with New England getting worse on the offensive line, a second-year quarterback, it's just not a great mix. So I think, especially with as opportunistic as that Pittsburgh defense appeared to be, I think that they win this game pretty easily. Atlanta going into LA, I think LA absolutely beats them down. They're coming off of being embarrassed on opening night, I should say. And Atlanta, although does have a couple of things that makes them interesting, I think they get beat up by the Rams. Seattle going into San Fran. I picked Seattle. I don't love the 49ers with Trey Lance behind center. I'm not as high on this guy as everybody else seems to be. He seems to me like he's going to be a C plus, B minus talent, which is similar to Jimmy G. He just happens to be a little more athletic. that being said, if he struggles more going forward, all of a sudden now you're going to have a quarterback controversy because they didn't get Jimmy G out of the building, which then just becomes a distraction within the organization. So I think there's enough just weird things surrounding the 49ers that Seattle can go in and steal a game. But they're going to need Geno to play like he did in the first half against Denver. So, we'll see how that works. That's kind of an upset pick on my end. But we'll see how that pans out. So let's move into the afternoon slot. We got Bengals going into Dallas. That's a super easy pick. I was going to pick the Bengals over Dallas anyway, but now with Dak being hurt, Dallas really just doesn't have a chance. Plus, there's just absolutely no way that Burrow is going to turn the ball over 5 times again. So that's an easy win. Going over to Denver at home against Houston. Again, that's another no-brainer pick. Denver's going to win that game at home. We go down to Arizona going into Las Vegas. I picked the Raiders over Arizona. Arizona, they have some stuff to work out. Nothing that they put on film really looked great. So I imagine the Raiders pick up their first win at home. You got Green Bay against Chicago. Green Bay is at home. They beat up on Chicago for the last decade. So naturally, I picked Green Bay. I also don't put a lot of stock in Green Bay losing week 1. They've lost week 1 tons of times and been fine. There were some things that were concerning about their week 1 loss, but that just has to do with rookies being rookies. And as every game progresses, they're going to get better. Tennessee going into Buffalo. Buffalo wins handily at home. If that defense can bottle up Henry, that's really their only offense in Tennessee at this point. So I'm going to go with Buffalo wins easily at home. And then Minnesota going into Philly. I don't trust primetime Kirk Cousins. So although I think the Vikings are actually a better team, I'm going to take Philly at home just because I don't trust the guy behind center in Minnesota. So those are my picks for this week. Comment down below. Let me know which ones you agree with, which ones you don't.